It is crucial for children to develop a lifelong love of reading. The early years setting should ignite a natural curiosity and interest in words, playing with sounds, making up rhyming words, and enjoying the whole process of reading for pleasure and for information. This will provide a strong foundation for skilled word reading taught later in reception. We want children to feel confident playing with sounds, rhyming words, and enjoying the whole process of reading and being read to. This will help them start to realise that words carry meaning and how they are structured in sentences. What I'd like us to talk about now is actually how we explore words. Hearing and playing with sounds is what we're going to concentrate on in their spoken language to begin with. And we're emphasising children's phonological awareness. Now, whilst phonics is formally taught in reception, there are a huge range of activities that we do that actually help children develop that phonological awareness. So, would you be able to start to share some of the examples that you give in your setting?
Well, I think staff being role models to the children and emphasising certain letter sounds, you know, if it's the first letter of their name and things like that. That all helps them to obviously, you know, hear things very differently.
And in terms of actually helping them to hone into the ends of words or the beginnings of words, do you sort of play with anything around alliteration or tongue twisters, rhymes? How do you do that?
Yeah, I mean, quite often the children like making up, you know, rhymes. It doesn't have to make sense, but, you know, silly spaghetti Simon and things like that, you know, building on that alliteration and playing around with words. They love it, and the funnier the better.
The one the other day we did going to the shops. That's one of the little girls' favourite games to play in the car, and we just added. I added the ABC. So we sang the ABC, and we were trying to remember what letter came next in the ABC. So we went to the shops and we bought apples, and then we bought some brownies.
The next little bit that we're going to just emphasise in exploring words is developing children's awareness of the sounds in words. Would you be able to share some of the things that you do to expose children to more experiences where they have to actively listen?
So we do a lot of sound walks around the nursery, around the local environment. Also body percussion, using body parts, breaking words down, particularly sort of clapping the rhythms of their names. You know, getting them to hear those syllables in their names is a great way of getting the children to explore those sounds.
When we're talking to children and engaging them in the listening, I mean, they're surrounded by sound. How do you, within your setting, Emma, really work out whether children are really listening accurately?
Obviously ensure you're always giving children time and space to listen, making sure they've processed and understood what you've asked maybe or what you're speaking about, and monitoring their language. Is it developing as it should?
Not only do we have the books where we have a limited number of words or words that rhyme at the end or pick up and retell fairy tales, we've also got a whole rich vein of books that actually have no words in them at all. How do you use those in the setting, and why would you do that?
So it's a great starting point for children to make up their own stories, you know, giving them that picture and asking them to put it into words. You know, getting them, if they can't put it into words, helping them obviously, with the younger ones, just talking about it, building on those initial words that they're saying. Playing with words and having fun with words and sounds helps to develop children's interest and curiosity. This in turn starts their interest in words. It's important that all children hear new words in context through play.
A critical skill for early years children is to build their auditory discrimination skills. I check how much they understand what is being said and if they are accurately hearing the sounds and syllables in each word. Singing songs and rhymes with children is a great way to find out if they understand what is being said and if they are hearing the sounds and syllables in each word. You can change the words in a familiar song and see if they notice whether they still rhyme.
Research tells us that the more we talk to children, the more words they hear and understand. We need to think in advance about how we make sure children's activities will extend their vocabulary. Reading books is essential to expose children to words that they do not normally hear or say. Providing opportunities to explore formal language through play activities helps children experience words and phrases in context.